seeking to become more efficient and valuable, GSE is built for you. This school is about real-world outcomes. We don't just teach content, we train capability. Now, let's talk about where you are right now. Starting something new is exciting but can feel intimidating. New systems, new expectations, new skills. If you've been disappointed by education before, you might wonder, is this going to be different? Yes. This isn't just information, it's transformation through skill. You're about to build things, learn how systems work, and develop the competence that makes employers take you seriously. And makes you take yourself seriously. You didn't choose a place that's playing games. You chose a place built on excellence, legacy, and the future. So again, welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence. We're honored you're here. Take your time, learn the system, ask questions, do the work, and most importantly, believe again. With the right training, the right standard, and the right support, you're going to look back and realize this was the moment. You stopped hoping for change and started building it. Welcome to GSE, where excellence begins. Welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence, or GSE. If this is your first time here, I want to say two things right away. First, you're in the right place. Second, you're not just joining a class, you're joining a legacy. GSE has been delivering high-quality education for over 20 years, and our story didn't start in a classroom. It started in the real world, where deadlines are real, standards are high, and results are what matter. Our origins began as Nomega Film and Audio, rooted in the audio and video space, working in film production, commercial work, audio engineering, and scoring. We filmed TV commercials and engineered projects tied to major industry workflows, producing, recording, editing, mixing, and delivering professional results. This wasn't theory, it was work where excellence is essential. That's the DNA of GSE. From early on, we weren't just producing, we were teaching. We taught Virginia Commonwealth University students and partnered with the Entertainment Career Connections Institute.
Alrighty, welcome. So glad that you guys are here. And before we get too started, just wanted to go into a few things and clear a few things up. I'm gonna move my, there we go, my screen here so I can see you guys as I talk to you. So we have recently moved our in-class format to a blended online format. And this is for the purpose of helping all of our students across all of our courses. We had students driving in from San Marcos and Austin area and week in, week out, and that became difficult. And we also have students where it is difficult. Some are on buses and are traveling from different means of getting rides. So with all of the different feedback that we've gotten from all of our students across the courses, we decided to make the Food Truck Entrepreneurship course, this course, an online only course. There will be times where we will meet in person, but for the vast majority, almost, I would say 90+% of the time, it will be online in this format. And you'll do just as you've always done anytime we are online. You'll type your name in for attendance, there will be engagement, and so forth. We will be transitioning all of the work out of Canvas, so give us a little bit of time to transition all the work out of Canvas back into the school's app. The app that we started using and we're using, and then we switched into Canvas. Now that we're doing predominantly online, we're moving all of that stuff back out of Canvas back into the school's app. So how does that affect you? Doesn't really affect you too much. Your grades will be your grades. All of the stuff in Canvas will be graded. Everything that is, if you owe work in Canvas, Canvas is still there. Upload your work in Canvas. If you still have work that is due in Canvas, take care of it in Canvas. It will still be there to the end of the year. Next year, students won't have Canvas at all. So all of the work will be just in the school's app. But if you have old work in Canvas, make sure you get it in Canvas. That's where it'll be. But all of your grades and stuff will transfer over. And we will begin, once we get everything transferred back into the school's app, we will continue to move there. Homework, like today, we'll have homework as well. And it's going to be kind of as normal, per normal. where you're going to go on YouTube or go on Facebook and explain what we're learning today. We're going to be going back over pitch decks. I believe we have a good grasp of it, but I want to make sure we have a really wonderful and great grasp of it. This is what we were doing. I think we had a Saturday where we were, I think last Saturday, we were at the food bank. So we didn't get a chance to totally review our pitch decks, and we want to do that. So we'll be going over that today. You'll be making a how-to video and posting it on YouTube and sending the link, or posting it on Facebook and just tagging me in it, and on how to pitch a bank to get them to give you money to launch your food truck business. So that's your homework. So homework and that's how we've been doing homework. So homework will be the same. The only thing that'll be different is that we will be online primarily versus sometimes online, sometimes in the house. We'll be online predominantly. Okay. If you have any questions about that process, type them in the chat. I'll be answering all of those questions throughout the class, or as they come to you. And if you have any questions about the class in general, just ask it, and I'll go over it with you. I'll try to answer all of your questions. Okay. So let's go ahead and hop into it. So let's hop into the pitch deck. And I see you, Amberly, Margaret, Jada. Also, another thing that we've done to keep people, because some people were hitting that 9, because you can only miss 9 class periods. After that, you automatically fail. We were, and we still do, if someone has right on 9 or maybe 10, they get to make up those hours as volunteer hours at the end, where every missed class is 2 to 4 volunteer hours, and we'll pick some charity or whatever, and you just go to volunteer your 8 hours or 4 hours per class or whatever there to make up your time, so that you don't fail. One thing that we've done now that we've transitioned to online to help out those students as a one-time gift is we're removing 3 absences. So if you are, hitting that I've missed 9 and I'm about to fail mark, we've removed 3 absences. So if you were at 9, you're at 6. If you're at 8, you're at 5 absences now. So removed, just taking them off the books, 3 absences. And that should put everybody in good standing. So right now, everybody, if you were at that mark, everyone should be in good standing. Okay. All righty. So that's a one-time gift. You're welcome. But it's also a gift because we're transitioning, and it shouldn't cause really too much disturbance because we're already in the app. But as a grace period and a way to keep everybody kosher, we did that. All right. One-time courtesy. Okay. Let's go ahead and jump in the class. This period, I think, goes to 11:45. So we will have maybe one break in the middle of about 5 to 10 minutes, and then we'll be back in it. We won't have as many breaks as we did when we were in person. Okay. All right. So food truck bank pitch preparation. So let's hop into these slides. And we're talking about pitching the banks. You're very, very welcome. Everyone's very, very welcome. Very welcome. All right. We want to see everybody succeed. Okay. Banks do not fund. People are saying thank you for the removal of the 3 absences. Okay. All right. Banks do not fund excitement. They fund proof. Let's blow that up a little bit bigger. Banks do not fund excitement. They fund proof. This is very, very important to know. This is something that because you will all need to pitch a bank your idea. Okay? You will all need to pitch a bank your idea. And banks do not fund excitement. They fund proof. Let me zoom in a little bit here. There we go. Banks fund proof. What do we mean? If you've ever watched Shark Tank, and I love Shark Tank. If you've ever watched Shark Tank, you've seen people come in with a lot of excitement. They'll come in and they are really excited. I'm so excited. My barbecue restaurant is going to be the best in town. And I have the best barbecue sauce and I get the best ribs and I get the blah, blah, blah. And they are so excited and they really, really believe in themselves. But you have to realize no one's going to believe in you like God and you, right? God made you and he believes in you because he made you. He knows what you can do, even if you don't. And hopefully you believe in you, because if you don't believe in you, life is going to be rough. It's probably going to suck for you if you don't believe in you. You're going to be a constant pity party, right? So God believes in you, you believe in you. No one else believes in you. Everyone else has to be convinced, especially when it comes to giving their time or giving their money. They're going to need to be convinced, okay? Banks do not fund excitement, they fund proof. A lender is listening for 4 things: a workable concept, disciplined numbers, a prepared borrower, and a credible path to repayment. I'll say it again: a workable concept. You're a barbecue restaurant, right? All right. Are you in an area that likes barbecue? All right. Is you moving into an area that's oversaturated with restaurants and oversaturated with barbecue restaurants, right? Disciplined numbers, a prepared borrower. Are you prepared? When you get the money, what's your plan? Are you just going to have the money and you're like, oh, I think I need this. Oh, I think I need that. And you're just kind of everywhere. So do you have a workable concept? Do you have disciplined numbers? Are you prepared? No, once we get that $80,000, 50 is going to our food truck. 10 is set aside for, 3 months of staffing. This is blah, 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 whatever, right? So you have the concept. You sound professional. Because as a teacher, I can tell when you guys have not studied. I can tell when you're bluffing and you're just pulling stuff out of thin air, right? If you've ever talked to anybody and it just seems like they're just pulling it out of thin air, you already know what I'm talking about, right? You already know, all right, this person's just pulling stuff out of thin air, right? To say it nicely. You can tell when someone's very, very prepared and when they're just kind of fudging it. You want to be prepared. You want to know your business. Don't get stumped on simple questions. Hey, what kind of restaurant you going to do? Well, I don't know. Bam, you're failing already. Or I'm going to do a barbecue place. All right, great. Why would I go to your barbecue restaurant over Bill Miller's? Over the barbecue in the H-E-B. That's pretty good. And you go, well, why am I going to go to your barbecue restaurant? Well, for one, we're going to be in an area where per capita there are fewer barbecue places. So one is just out of convenience, not necessarily because we're the best barbecue in Texas, but we're going to be so conveniently located. We're parking in front of the base of the hospital. For those that need to run in and run out, we're going to be that choice. So it has nothing to do with the food. For one, part of our strategy is just being convenient to the user, being convenient to the customer. Number 2, we're going to offer traditional restaurant, Tex-Mex barbecue that people are familiar with, that reminds them of home, reminds them of mom, that's comfort food. 3, we're going to package it in a grab and go way. So for people that want to sit down, we'll have maybe chairs or whatever, or we're right next to the park so people can grab the food and sit down with it. But also we're packaging it kind of like In-N-Out does. They ask you one thing, In-N-Out. I wasn't impressed with In-N-Out when they first moved to San Antonio, but they're smart folks. And after, I guess they improved the recipe, or maybe the first time I went, they were busy and the food was just terrible. But I went back, I gave them a second chance about a year or 2 later, mainly because I was just tired of eating everything else. And I'm not a big fast food eater, but I just didn't want anything else. And since I rarely eat In-N-Out, I went there and they kind of won me over. They said, are you going to be eating on the go? Like in your car, you're going to be taking like, oh no, I'm on the go. I got something to do. And they gave it to me in a little box that was easy to grab the fries or whatever burger and eat it on the go. They were smart. Hey, we're going to package our stuff in a way that is convenient. Our pricing is designed to not be competitive. or is designed to be competitive, right? You don't always have to be the bottom of the barrel. A lot of times, if you're pricing stuff to be the bottom of the barrel, there's so little margin in it that you're not going to make money. Sell 100 burgers and don't make a dime, right? Restaurants go out of business all the time because they don't understand their margins. They just don't, okay? So you want to know your margins. And maybe you don't sell the $5 burger. Maybe you sell the $7 burger because you need to live. And you need to be able to make a profit. Maybe you sell the $7 burger, okay? But you need to make it worth those people $7. Like, man, why am I going to buy $7 from you versus $5 from someone else? And you need to have a reason for that. You got to understand, when you go to Fogo de Chao, you go to any of these Brazilian steakhouses and pay $50 or $75 or $120 for a meal, you're not going to get the cheapest meal. If you were, you'd go to McDonald's. You don't go pay $50 or $75 or $120 for a meal because you want the cheapest. You normally want an experience, or you want high quality food, right? Not everybody on earth is trying to find the cheapest deal. That's why high end restaurants exist. Some people want good food. They want organic food. They want an environment where kids aren't running around and yelling. They want maybe something to take their day to, right? So you don't always have to be the cheapest. But if you're not the cheapest, if people aren't coming to you for the cheapest, they need to be coming to you for convenience, or because you're the best, or you create a great environment, right? There needs to be some reason that people come to you, right? Your numbers need to make sense. We go over numbers a lot because that's the one thing that people normally don't understand. A lot of you guys don't understand your numbers. So we keep going over numbers over and over and over. If I asked, a lot of you don't know how much your burger costs, or how much and I say, how much does it? Well, the lettuce, and this is what you would tell me. Well, the lettuce costs this and tomatoes cost, that's great. How much does that, you're halfway through the course, how much does your menu cost you? If you don't know that, good luck. Most businesses fail. You might be one of them. Know how much your stuff costs. Yes, lettuce costs, a head of lettuce costs this, and a thing of tomatoes costs this. But you're not using the head of lettuce on your hamburger, right? Maybe you go buy a head of lettuce and go buy tomatoes and go buy all the ingredients for your burgers and make as many burgers as you can with them. And then you know, all right, a head of lettuce will make 10 burgers for me. And one tomato will make 2 burgers for me. And now you can begin to say, all right, I can divide this head of lettuce cost up into 10 burgers. I can divide this tomatoes cost into 10 burgers. I can divide, and maybe all of your raw ingredients are $120. And you know, with that $120, you can make 20 burgers. So now you know, all right, it costs me $6 to make this burger. You're going to sell it for $5 and you're going to lose money all the time wondering where your money's going. Or maybe you go, man, this $6 burger, then when I add it with the fries are another, $1.18, whatever. And this soda drink cost me 88 cents. All right. So my all-in cost is about $8.50. All right. So now I know if I want to keep my food costs at 26%, that means I have to sell this meal for like $24. I can't sell this meal at $24. So that means I need to do what? Lower my food costs, especially if you're on a food truck. Now, certain foods, you can go to a food truck and people are paying 30. Seafood, they're paying 30 and 40 bucks for that. But it might be hard to sell somebody on a $24 meal when it's burger, fries, and a drink, right? So you might have to lower the quality of your ingredients. You might not be able to do organic everything, right? You might have to do some off-the-shelf ingredients, right? You might have to figure out how to lower that price so that you can get a target price that the market will pay for, market price, and still make a profit. You need to know exactly what your food costs you. You will never get to managing somebody else's restaurant or running your own if you don't know the most basic thing. Know your food costs. Know your food costs. Know your food costs. I'll say it. Know your food costs. You need to know your food costs. Type that in the chat. I will know my food costs. Type that in the chat. I will know my food costs. You have to know your food costs. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You have to know your food costs. Okay. You talk about that. You're going to hear me talk about that over and over and over. Thy must know thine food costs. Okay. And you need to know it well, and you need to know it better than anyone else. You do. You do. Because people are going to grill you. You go to ask somebody for $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, which is what this course is designing you for. You need to know this stuff. You need to know this stuff. If you're taking this stuff for, oh, I'll figure it out, or you're not going to pass this course, and you're not going to do well running your own business. You have to know. You can't not be in the food business and not know the food business. Okay. I think I've harped on that enough. Repayment. After expenses, can the business realistically service debt? What does service debt means? Pay back your loan. Are you able to pay back that loan? That's a big deal. Are you able to pay back the loan? Are you able to pay back your loan? Your all-in cost is $8. You decide to sell that meal for $12. You're making $4, right? Now, if that $4 is pure profit, that means that $8 is covering all of your food and the gas or propane for your food truck, and paying your sous chef or your window guy or gal, and all in, and you're profiting $4, and you're doing, however much, $400, $500, $600 in profit, which is $1,000-some gross, and you're doing, then great, $1,200 gross, $400 in profit every day. You're doing 5 days a week, $2,000 a week, $8,000 a month. Your repayment is $1,600. You can easily repay it and still have, $5-6 grand to live on for you. That works, right? And then after the debt is serviced, all of that becomes profit. Once you're franchised, now you're doing $6 grand, a month profit times 3 trucks, and doing, a week profit. Now you're doing 18 grand a week. Great. Wonderful. But when you open up that first truck, can you service that debt? Before someone gives you a large amount of money, they're going to want to know. And I've gotten tons and tons of people approved for their food truck and filled out, and they're operating their businesses today. But you have to know this, right? You can't just dream about it. Okay. Every bank pitch must answer 5 lender questions. You have to answer this. And I'm probably get you guys to redo and film your film. And I know we did this once, but we're probably going to do it again, where you film your actual pitch. And I want you dressed up in nice clothes and your pants, suit, or whatever. And you are going to send the kids to grandma's, whatever you need to do. This need to be a professional pitch. And this is going to be huge, big chunk of your grade. Professional pitch. You need to pitch these folks, right? And it needs to sound great. And I'm gonna get you to do it to the camera. Before I put you in real banks, I need to be very confident. All right. So every bank pitch must answer the 5 lender question. Is the concept viable? Can this food truck sell a focused menu to a real customer base? There's a lot of restaurants that just do commissary. They rent out commissaries, and they do DoorDash, rent out commissary. They don't even have their own place, and they're doing proof of concept, and then they launch, right? You can do that. You can just cook food for your neighbors and get feedback. Find out if your food is good. If you don't have money to buy your food, you better go borrow $100 from grandma. Get that second job, work online. Start cooking your food and start giving it to people, and tell them to be critical. What you do not want, listen to me carefully. What you do not want is a bunch of people that are just telling you what you want to hear. You do not want it. You do not want a bunch of people that are just telling you what you want to hear. It's not good. Oh, this is the best burger I ever had. Then you borrow 50 grand and you from a bank, and another 20 grand from grandma, and you quit your job and you're doing this thing, and everybody comes to tell you how terrible your burgers are, and your fries are too greasy, and your sides are too salty. Well, my friends told me it was great. Yeah, because your feelings are so soft and so easily hurt that they don't want to tell you the truth. You got to think like, I say this all the time, you got to think like a business owner, not a chef. The business owner is trying to make, hey, if this is trash, tell me it's trash so I don't put it on my menu. and get a bad reputation. Nobody wants to eat here. You need to get that real world feedback. Is there a clear demand? Why this food, this market, this location, this timing? Let's break each one of those down. Why this food? Go ahead and type in the type of food that you're going to make in the chat. Go ahead and type in the type of food that you're going to make in the chat. Go ahead and type it in now. Go ahead and type in the type of food that you're going to make in the chat. All right. So why seafood? Why whatever, right? Whatever you're making, why that? Okay. And people need to know why have you decided to make that type of food? Why are you making this? The market. Is there a market for your teriyaki flavored, potato chips as a side for your barbecue Korean sushi fusion, right? Are people going to think that's, unique and innovative, or are they just going to think it's crazy? Right? Is there a market for it? Your location. Are you in a good law? Are you parked next to a hospital or a high school or a college that may not have a big food court, a lot of options? So you're strategically located, or in a big neighborhood where you've worked out with the HOA that you're going to be there every Wednesday. So that's important. That's important. So your food, I'm seeing loaded hot dogs, burgers and fries, snow cones, Creole American burgers and seasoned fried, agua cones. I heard of aqua fresca. I don't know about agua cones. I don't know what that is. Water cones. But is there a market for it? What are your location? If I'm selling, I see snow cones. If I'm doing snow cones, AKA agua cones. Okay. So if I'm doing snow cones, that's not going to maybe do too well in the winter. So maybe this is a summer business, right? And maybe you hit up events, baseball games, basketball games. Maybe you partner with high schools and say, hey, you guys can do the concession. I'm going to bring agua cones. I give you 10% of the cut. You make good business deals, right? So what's the food? What's the market? What's the location? And is the timing right? If I'm launching a snow cone business in the winter, it might be great business, great flavors, and snow cone businesses make money. I mean, it's ice and juice and flavor. So it costs you nothing. The cone costs you as much as the ice, basically. Like, it's all, what I'm saying is pennies. Every cup is pennies, but you get to sell that stuff for $4 and $5. Your margin is through the roof on drinks, and snow cones are basically like a drink. Your margin costs you 12 cents and you sell it for $4 or $3. Great business. But launching it in the wintertime, and when it's like -20 somewhere or it's super cold, people may not want snow cones. So timing is really, 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 really important. Okay. Do you know your numbers? I don't want to harp on it again, but you need to know your numbers. I'll just put it like that. You need to know your numbers. Do you know your numbers? Pricing. What are you going to price it at? To know what you're going to price it at, you need to know what your food cost is. To know what that is, you need to know your startup. How much is all your startup supplies? How much is your food truck going to cost? And you need to pay yourself. If you say, well, I'm just going to work for free until, that's not sustainable. That's why a good businesses close. People have a little savings up and they're like, well, I can go 3 months without a paycheck. I can go 6 months without a paycheck. But yeah, most businesses lose money for their first year. That's why they close down within their first year. The owner has to go back to work. So you need to have a budget in there to pay you. Add up all your bills at the house and have a budget in there to pay you. Okay. Don't just live off of hopes and dreams. So pricing, food cost, startup budget, your projections. I believe, in this area, because it has this population, because these businesses are doing this amount of sales, that I can get in there and do half those sales. You're not going to necessarily walk in there unless you have just an amazing launch. Walk in there, make your numbers modest. A lot of people go in there and I'm going to go in and I'm going to sell $1 million my first year. And be like, okay, based on what? Hopes and dreams? You need numbers to back it up. Go in there and say, all right, the population in these 3 zip codes that we're going to service is this amount. They spend this much on food in general, this much on food eating out. The average food truck in the area is pulling in this number. Maybe you go poll the food trucks, or you try to find those statistics from a government website, which you can find sometimes because all food trucks have to be licensed just like restaurants. And you do your research and say, all right, and we're going to move in. So based on the numbers, we should start off doing, $4,000 a month day one, but we're going to do an amazing launch. We're going to spend 18 grand in advertising and marketing and running ads. And we're going to try to get, 30 grand a month or whatever. Okay. All right. So just know your projections, have numbers to back it up, know your margins, which is how much you cost. And they must make sense. All right. Are you operationally ready? The normal stuff, permits. Do you have a commissary, which is mandatory? Staffing. Are you trying to run it all by yourself? You got grandma to help you. Workflow. We designed our food trucks. Did you design your food truck in a way that makes sense? Compliance, reduce lender risk. Okay. Make sure that you're all your ducks in a row. Not being compliant is a non-start, right? All right. How does the bank get repaid? The pitch must show realistic revenue and debt service capacity. All right. So if the borrower cannot answer these clearly, the lender hears uncertainty and risk. You are a risk. You are a risk. You are a risk. Excitement doesn't get rid of the risk. If someone came to you right now and says, hey, I want to borrow all of the money you have in the bank. Some people are going, hey, man, I only got $2. Go ahead. Here you go. Right. But if you have any, I want to borrow your car. Someone says, I want to borrow your car. And you're like, man, I don't really know you. I don't want you to borrow my car, right? Because when you go to the bank, they don't know you. They're like, I don't know you. I don't want to give you my money. It's not like you've been a, member at that bank for 20 years and the president and you've bought your car through them and they have this long record with you, right? They're like, oh, we don't know you. And even banks now where you have a long history with and record with, a lot of times it's protocol. It's not like back in the day where, they trusted you, you trusted them and you built personal relationships. Now everything is numbers, it is just data in the system. You're a faceless number. You are lender number 86943. And does these numbers make sense? That's what they care about. You are a risk. The person comes up and say, I know you don't know me. I want to borrow your car. They better have a really good pitch to you to make you say yes. Because every instinct in you is yelling no. So they need to have a great pitch, why they need it, when they're bringing it back, why they're trustworthy, why they don't have a car of their own. Why do they pick you? Why do they wait till now to take care of this urgent thing, right? They need to be able to answer everything and not just answer it really well and very convincingly. Okay? Or you're just going to be no. These banks lean to no. You got to convince them to yes, right? And having this stuff in place is what's going to make them say yes. All right, you need a package, man. You need a package. Not just a slideshow, not just a PowerPoint. You need some type of package. You got to have a package, right? You got to have a package. A presentation is great. 20, 30-minute talk. You meet with them and you pitch. That's great. You need to have a support package, a business plan. And this is not just banks. You can go to angel investors. You can go to friends. You can go to anybody with money and make this pitch. So this is not just a bank presentation. This is a money presentations for lenders. Okay. You need to have your business plan, cost sheets, budget, projections, permits. You got to have it together. You have to know your business better than they know your business, right? You need to be ready to answer questions, right? Hey, what made you choose this business? Are you going to stick with it? Are you in debt personally right now? Why are you in debt? Why can't you pay your bills on time? Are you going to pay me back on time? We pulled up your credit score. See that you still owe the university that you graduated from 14 grand. Are you going to pay them back? You're going like, man, what? This is so personal. Yeah, you're asking them to give you money. They want to know the person that they're giving this money to. Are you trustworthy? Do you know the business? They might start asking you, you say a hot dog? What kind of hot dog wieners are you going to use? Oh, okay, those kind. All right. How much are they for 1,000? And you can't go, well, I never thought about that. You need to know, well, hey, because they're going to go, hey, if you're buying in bulk and you're trying to say you're going to sell 1,000 a week, you might want to know how much 1,000 costs. Or you need to know it so well that you can answer like, hey, I don't know what 1,000 costs because they come in packs of 100. 100 costs, whatever, $45. So 1,000 would be $450, right? And you can work it out right in front of them. They go, okay, well, there you go. You got the answer. Or you go, hey, they don't come in bulks of 1,000, but our per unit food cost is $2 per hot dog wiener, right? Because we're getting really nice kosher stuff. So we know it's $2 per hot dog wiener. So you can calculate how much 1,000 would cost, be $2 grand, right? So you need to know your business. You need to be able to really confidently know your business. Well, what does it say at the bottom here? A lender should leave with confidence that the borrower has both the story and the proof. Because they lend on the numbers, but once they're convinced of the numbers, they're going to lend to you, right? So even if all the numbers look good, and yeah, I reference Shark Tank because you see this on Shark Tank. Even if the numbers look good, even if the numbers look good, they want to know, do you look good? The numbers look good, but can I trust you? Can I deal with you? If you're late on a payment, are you going to be fussy and combative? Are you going to be humble? Like, I got to deal with you. What does that look like? Okay. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and take a 6-minute break. And then we'll be right back. It is 10:44. Let's be back at 10:50. Go ahead and type 10:50 in the chat. And I will see you back at 10:50. And we're going to start going over the parts of your pitch deck. Okay.
Welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence, or GSE. If this is your first time here, I want to say 2 things right away. First, you're in the right place. Second, you're not just joining a class, you're joining a legacy. GSE has been delivering high-quality education for over 20 years, and our story didn't start in a classroom. It started in the real world, where deadlines are real, standards are high, and results are what matter. Our origins began as Nomega Film and Audio, rooted in the audio and video space, working in film production, commercial work, audio engineering, and scoring. We filmed TV commercials and engineered projects tied to major industry workflows, producing, recording, editing, mixing, and delivering professional results. This wasn't theory, it was work where excellence is essential. That's the DNA of GSE. From early on, we weren't just producing, we were teaching. We taught Virginia Commonwealth University students and partnered with the Entertainment Career Connections Institute to teach their Richmond students. Our school originally grew in Richmond, Virginia, focusing on audio and video engineering, training students to not just know about production, but to actually do it. In 2025, we officially transitioned to the Griffin School of Excellence, expanding our programs to fit the future. AI for business, food truck entrepreneurship, coding and development in Python, and continued strength in audio-video engineering. We have a great origin story filled with hard work and proven ability and a rich history, but we're not living in the past. We're building modern skills for today's economy with the same high standards that built the original school. Here's the big difference between GSE and most schools. Many graduates receive degrees and certifications but struggle on day one at their jobs. This costs companies time and money and can cost graduates opportunities. At GSE, we train differently. Our mission is simple. When you finish here, you are day one ready, not just having watched videos or read chapters. You can walk in on day one and actually perform. That's rare, valuable, and what makes your time here worth it. We believe in excellence, and we do not believe in selling paper. You don't come to GSE to buy a certification. You earn skills, confidence, and competence. The goal isn't to look qualified, it's to be qualified. Whether you're an entrepreneur, leveling up for a better job, or seeking to become more efficient and valuable, GSE is built for you. This school is about real-world outcomes. We don't just teach content, we train capability. Now, let's talk about where you are right now. Starting something new is exciting but can feel intimidating. New systems, new expectations, new skills. If you've been disappointed by education before, you might wonder, is this going to be different? Yes. This isn't just information, it's transformation through skill. You're about to build things, learn how systems work, and develop the competence that makes employers take you seriously. And makes you take yourself seriously. You didn't choose a place that's playing games. You chose a place built on excellence, legacy, and the future. So again, welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence. We're honored you're here. Take your time, learn the system, ask questions, do the work, and most importantly, believe again. With the right training, the right standard, and the right support, you're going to look back and realize this was the moment. You stopped hoping for change and started building it. Welcome to GSE, where excellence begins. Welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence, or GSE. If this is your first time here, I want to say two things right away. First, you're in the right place. Second, you're not just joining a class, you're joining a legacy. GSE has been delivering high-quality education for over 20 years, and our story didn't start in a classroom. It started in the real world, where deadlines are real, standards are high, and results are what matter. Our origins began as Nomega Film and Audio, rooted in the audio and video space, working in film production, commercial work, audio engineering, and scoring. We filmed TV commercials and engineered projects tied to major industry workflows, producing, recording, editing, mixing, and delivering professional results. This wasn't theory, it was work where excellence is essential. That's the DNA of GSE. From early on, we weren't just producing, we were teaching. We taught Virginia Commonwealth University students and partnered with the Entertainment Career Connections Institute to teach their Richmond students. Our school originally grew in Richmond, Virginia, focusing on audio and video engineering, training students to not just know about production, but to actually do it. In 2025, we officially transitioned to the Griffin School of Excellence, expanding our programs to fit the future. AI for business, Food Truck Entrepreneurship, coding and development in Python, and continued strength in audio-video engineering. We have a great origin story filled with hard work and proven ability and a rich history, but we're not living in the past. We're building modern skills for today's economy with the same high standards that built the original school. Here's the big difference between GSE and most schools. Many graduates receive degrees and certifications but struggle on day one at their jobs. This costs companies time and money and can cost graduates opportunities. At GSE, we train differently. Our mission is simple. When you finish here, you are day one ready, not just having watched videos or read chapters. You can walk in on day one and actually perform. That's rare, valuable, and what makes your time here worth it. We believe in excellence, and we do not believe in selling paper. You don't come to GSE to buy a certification. You earn skills, confidence, and competence. The goal isn't to look qualified, it's to be qualified. Whether you're an entrepreneur, leveling up for a better job, or seeking to become more efficient and valuable, GSE is built for you. This school is about real-world outcomes. We don't just teach content, we train capability. Now, let's talk about where you are right now. Starting something new is exciting but can feel intimidating. New systems, new expectations, new skills. If you've been disappointed by education before, you might wonder, is this going to be different? Yes. This isn't just information, it's transformation through skill. You're about to build things, learn how systems work, and develop the competence that makes employers take you seriously. And makes you take yourself seriously. You didn't choose a place that's playing games. You chose a place built on excellence, legacy, and the future. So again, welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence. We're honored you're here. Take your time, learn the system, ask questions, do the work, and most importantly, believe again. With the right training, the right standard, and the right support, you're going to look back and realize this was the moment. You stopped hoping for change and started building it. Welcome to GSE, where excellence begins. Welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence, or GSE. If this is your first time here, I want to say two things right away. First, you're in the right place. Second, you're not just joining a class, you're joining a legacy. GSE has been delivering high-quality education for over 20 years, and our story didn't start in a classroom. It started in the real world, where deadlines are real, standards are high, and results are what matter. Our origins began as Nomega Film and Audio, rooted in the audio and video space, working in film production, commercial work, audio engineering, and scoring. We filmed TV commercials and engineered projects tied to major industry workflows, producing, recording, editing, mixing, and delivering professional results. This wasn't theory, it was work where excellence is essential. That's the DNA of GSE. From early on, we weren't just producing, we were teaching. We taught Virginia Commonwealth University students and partnered with the Entertainment Career Connections Institute to teach their Richmond students. Our school originally grew in Richmond, Virginia, focusing on audio and video engineering, training students to not just know about production, but to actually do it. In 2025, we officially transitioned to the Griffin School of Excellence, expanding our programs to fit the future. AI for business, food truck entrepreneurship, coding and development in Python, and continued strength in audio-video engineering. We have a great origin story filled with hard work and proven ability and a rich history, but we're not living in the past. We're building modern skills for today's economy with the same high standards that built the original school. Here's the big difference between GSE and most schools. Many graduates receive degrees and certifications but struggle on day one at their jobs. This costs companies time and money and can cost graduates opportunities. At GSE, we train differently. Our mission is simple. When you finish here, you are day one ready, not just having watched videos or read chapters. You can walk in on day one and actually perform. That's rare, valuable, and what makes your time here worth it. We believe in excellence, and we do not believe in selling paper. You don't come to GSE to buy a certification. You earn skills, confidence, and competence. The goal isn't to look qualified, it's to be qualified. Whether you're an entrepreneur, leveling up for a better job, or seeking to become more efficient and valuable, GSE is built for you. This school is about real-world outcomes. We don't just teach content, we train capability. Now, let's talk about where you are right now. Starting something new is exciting but can feel intimidating. New systems, new expectations, new skills. If you've been disappointed by education before, you might wonder, is this going to be different? Yes. This isn't just information, it's transformation through skill. You're about to build things, learn how systems work, and develop the competence that makes employers take you seriously. And makes you take yourself seriously. You didn't choose a place that's playing games. You chose a place built on excellence, legacy, and the future. So again, welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence. We're honored you're here. Take your time, learn the system, ask questions, do the work, and most importantly, believe again. With the right training, the right standard, and the right support.
All right, we are back. Delicious. One thing I do, guys, because I don't drink coffee, but I had a very, very long day yesterday. I mean, remarkably long day. And today's going to be a long day as well because all of our classes are now on Saturday. So I have about 16 hours of straight teaching and course prep. So I don't drink coffee. So this is what I did. We have a Keurig in the kitchen, as you all know. So I put the Keurig in. And since I don't drink coffee, what I did was I turned the Keurig on to 12, which is the high as it goes, 12 ounces. And I ran the coffee through it, and it made a big, big cup of coffee. And then I dumped it all out. And then using that same K-cup, I put my cup under there, and I put it under another 12 ounces and ran it through. And that second cup of coffee is just super light because, the first cup, which was all rich and dark, I just literally dumped it down the drain. And then I came back and had to make that same K-Cup another one, which turned out super, super, super light. I don't know if I can, if I hold it up, I've drank a lot of it now. But it's super, super light. It's not that dark color. And that's what I'm drinking. So it's coffee, but it's super, super light coffee. It's not strong at all. If I drank a normal cup of coffee, I'd be up for 3 days. So this tastes like water flavored coffee, you know, but it works for me. Okay. All right. If you're back, just type in, I'm back. If you're back, just type in, I am back. All righty. Let's hop back on into this. So this is where we left off. Our business pitch. This is the presentation backbone. If any of these are weak, the lender will fill the gap. And not fill the gap, F-I-L-L, and as in they'll complete it for you, but they'll feel that information is missing. They'll know that something isn't quite right. Okay. So let's go ahead and put this in there. And the moment you get back, go ahead and just type in, I'm back, or just type your name in so I know that you're back. Alrighty. So here we go. This is the presentation background. So business introduction, your name, your concept, the owner, the mission, and the funding purpose. So name, go ahead and type in the name of your businesses in the chat. Go ahead and type in the name of your businesses in the chat. Matter of fact, go ahead and type in all of this information. Name, your concept. We are a barbecue Latin fusion or whatever. So go ahead and type in your name, your concept, who the owners are. If it's just you, just put your name. That's fine. What the mission is. What is the mission for your restaurant? What's the purpose? Like, hey, we want to feed, high quality, gluten-free, whatever to the area or whatever your mission is. So the name of your business, the concept of your business, put that in there. The owners, the mission, do it quickly. So you're not holding up class, and the funding. So funding purpose. We are coming to you to get money to buy our truck, the first 6 months worth of ingredients, and salaries for 2 employees, including myself, for the first 6 months. So go ahead and type that in there. The name of the restaurant, the concept, the owners. If it's just you, just put your name. The mission, we are here to bring gluten-free barbecue, a gluten-free barbecue option to the south side of San Antonio, whatever. And the funding purpose, what you plan on using the money for. Okay. All right. So Jada said the name of her restaurant is Magnolia Barbecue or Magnolia Burger. And congrats to Kaya's Taekwondo lesson. All righty. So Magnolia Barbecue. We are a Creole American fusion food truck. Okay, so you got the name, you got the concept. That's great. Put in the owner, the mission, and the funding purpose. Drop that in there quickly. And once you do that, we're going to move on to owner credibility. So after that, I want you to type in your experience, your work history, any certifications that you have, and why do you believe that you can execute this? Okay. Amberly says her businesses Love Me Not Hot Dogs, a collection of simple, bold, and flavorful creations, serve quick filling meals. All right, the mission, I guess, to serve quick filling meals with big flavors, perfect for a quick comfort meal. I like it. All right, so we got name and concept. Make sure you put your name and concept in there. We need owners, your mission, and funding purpose. And that was kind of the concept and the mission for Amberly. So good job there. So now we need your funding purpose and the owners. So make sure you answer all 5 of these. This is meticulous. When you go to a bank, you need to do what they ask you in the order they ask you, right? So your name, concept, owner, mission, and funding purpose. Name, Big Billy's Burgers concept. We are a barbecue and Tex-Mex burger fusion, offering grilled meat on burgers. Billy Titan is the owner, and the mission is to bring real Black Angus meat to burgers in the west side of San Antonio. Funding purpose, we're going to use your $80,000 to buy a $54,000 food truck that we've already priced out and designed with, SJT trailers or whatever. And owner salaries, two owners are going to be working the truck, making $6,000 a month. So to fund their salaries for X amount of time, blah, 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 blah. So what are you using this for? So type that in: name, concept, owner, mission, and funding purpose. All right, and this is part of your participation. All right, after that, I want owner credibility. Do you have experience in the in foods? Are you an accountant now trying to get into the food truck business, right? What's your experience? What's your work history? What's your certifications? Basically what's your experience in business and in the food industry? After that, type in market opportunity. Okay, let me pull this up over here. There we go. After that, type in market opportunity. And who are your target customers? Your target customers, children, high schools, doctors, Latin people, Black people, white people, people on the west side that are rich, people on the east side that are middle income, redheads, people with big feet, whatever, right? Who are you targeting? If you don't know who you're targeting, you don't know how to advertise to them. If I'm targeting, rich Latinas, then that puts a picture in my head. We went over it because this is business class. We went over Mike. What is Mike? My ideal customer. MIC, my ideal customer. Who's your Mike? If your Mike is rich Latinas, then you're not going to advertise to them like, white people from the country. Right? They like different things. They watch different shows. Right? If am I advertising during NASCAR, or am I advertising during a soap opera? Am I advertising during, if we're doing TV advertising, am I advertising during Christian programming? Am I advertising during sports? Different demographics watch different things. They consume content differently. If I'm in a younger generation, am I putting advertising dollars in the TikTok and Instagram? If I'm in an older generation, am I putting my advertising dollars in newspapers and magazines or whatever, right? So if you don't know who your ideal customer is, you don't know how to advertise to them. So you need to know race, religion, zip codes, likes, dislikes, so you can target in on who they are. And maybe it's not a race or religion or whatever. Maybe it's a zip code. Well, guess what? Groups of people tend to clump together, right? There's people call it the good area of town. Then there's the bad area of town. You'd advertise to them differently, right? The rich area of town, you're advertising them differently, right? You have, where white people live, or where Hispanic people live, or Black people, more people similar tastes, they clump together. So not always, but the vast majority of the time. That's why we have demographic studies. You can go Google your city and Google, hey, what are the demographics of my city? And it will give it to you freely. It's public information. They used to knock on doors and call it a census. right? And they would know where everybody lived, where the money was, where the poor people was, where the different races were, right? I'm not going to advertise to the people in Chinatown the same way I'm going to advertise to the people in the trailer parks or in the hoods or to the doctors or to the Dominion, the rich areas, right? So you need to know if I'm advertising to 78209, and that's Alamo Heights and Terrell Heights and more rich areas, I'm going to advertise to it differently, right? So the people in my commercials are going to look more like those people, right? Because they're going to identify with them. So you got to know your target customer. You got to know who they are, what they think, what they like. Okay. Service locations, local demand, timing. You know, are you a breakfast place where people are going to hit you up for breakfast? Your dinner place? Are you a lunch place? Are you closed for dinner? This stuff you need to know this stuff. All right. Margaret says, Sweet Treats. Our business offers authentic shave ice, delivering a refreshing tropical experience with high quality flavors and customizable toppings. We aim to create a fun, family friendly, and he cuts it off. All right. This funding will allow the business to launch efficiently, maintain consistent product quality, and establish a strong presence in the local market. All right. Sounds like somebody typed some stuff into ChatGPT and that's what it spit out. So with this stuff, guys, ChatGPT won't help you. ChatGPT it can help you practice. It can help you study, but it's not going to help you verbalize, because the minute someone asks you a question, you can't tell them, give me a minute, I'm going to go to ChatGPT and they're going to be like, you don't know what you're doing, right? ChatGPT can't run your business. So what you're going to use the money for needs to be what you will use the money for. Like I would call BC bullcrap on that statement, and just being honest with you, because they're going to be on. I'm trying to set you up to win. Right? If someone just spent, if we're going to use this following, the funding will allow the business to launch effectively, maintain consistent product quality. Great. So what are you spending my money on again? What are you spending my money on? Okay. If it's a tractor place, we're going to buy 8 tractors at $45,000 a piece from Tractor Pull Joe downtown. And we're going to buy 8, we're going to pay for 8 mechanics to work on these tractors. And we already have put the job up on Indeed and have made job offers to 4 of them. We're looking for specifics. The bank, people that want to give you money, they want specifics. You have to know your business. If you don't know your business, they're not giving you money because you don't know. You're a liability. You don't even know your own business. You can't skate through this stuff. You can't skate. You need to deeply understand, or you're just not going to be successful. And then when they ask you questions, you'll just seem like you don't know. You'll seem foolish. You need to know. You need to know. So yes, great to have ChatGPT and AI help you put business plans together and all of that other stuff. But the minute someone asks you a question and you don't know it, then it's not going to work. All right. So name, concept, owner, mission, and funding, purpose. All right. Owner credibility. What's your experience? What's your work history? Your certs? Drop that stuff in there. Your target customer. What's your target customer? Service locations, local demand and timing. Competitor analysis, right? Direct competitors, price comparisons, and competitive edge. Know who you're going against, right? Who are you going against? Type that in the chat. Who are your competitors? Who are your competitors? And you should know this. We've gone through these slides prior. Know who are your competitors. This is a business class. You got to be fierce. You got to know. You can't guess. Who are you? If I'm doing a barbecue restaurant and I'm on the south side, hey, my other barbecue competitors may be Bill Miller's, maybe, Smoke Shack on Southwest Military. I need to know who's in a mile radius of me, right? Those are my immediate competitors. And then who else is in the city? Those are my overall competitors. Maybe people after church on Sunday, they're thinking of barbecue places to go. I want them to come to my food truck and not just drive somewhere across town. So I need to know my competitors. I need to know and why people like my competitors. From opening up a grocery store, I need to know why people like HEB. I need to know why people like HEB so much. They love HEB. I need to know why, so I can one up HEB. I can say, all right, well, HEB does this, and they support businesses, they support sports, they support kids. Well, guess what? They support 50 schools. I'm going to support 100 schools. They support local retailers. I'm going to support local retailers even more so. I'm going to give them more frontage space. I'm going to find out what people like about HEB, and I'm going to do it better. Sometimes you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just need to make a better wheel. You don't need to come up with some unique thing all the time that separates you. You can just do the exact same thing, but do it better. I'm going to build a better burger. I'm going to build a better business. I'm going to be more kids friendly. You know, McDonald's used to have a playground. All of McDonald's had a playground. And you could take kids to it and you would eat and the kids would play on the playground. They got rid of the playground, right? Maintenance and all this other stuff. They decided, hey, it's no longer an advantage. It's a liability. They got rid of it. So maybe you bring it back. And you're like, hey, our competitors don't have kid zones. We do. So maybe you don't do something new. You just do something better. All righty. Competitor. The dog father. All right. Bahama Bucks. Popeyes. These are competitors. All right. So how are you going to beat your competitors out? Talk to me. How are you going to be better than your competitors? I'm just smiling. I'm waiting for the responses. It's good that you know your competitors. You can't beat an enemy you can't see, right? So how are you going to be better than your competitors? Put that in there. Menu and pricing. All right. As you pitch your bank, you got to know this stuff. Menu and pricing. You got to know you have a focused menu. Do not do this. Please. Please. I work with so many food trucks and so many restaurants. Very few have been successful with a large menu. All right, using fresh fruit. All right, that's a good way to start to separate yourself from a competitor. But once again, using fresh fruit means higher cost, right? Than using just a liquid, using fresh fruit in there. So that's a good thing. All right, offering deals and coupon incentives. But remember, if you're offering deals and coupon incentives, what are you doing? You're cutting into your profit, right? So offering deals and coupons are great if you have an expensive product. So if you are a high-end restaurant that most people can't afford, offering a deal or a coupon to allow people that could normally not afford your restaurant to come in on Valentine's Day or come in to experience your restaurant is good. That's, for one, you're building good, rapport with the community because you're allowing them to experience something that they wouldn't normally be able to experience. And if you can do it and still make a profit, that's even better, right? Maybe you're not making $26 per meal. Maybe you're only making 12, but you're still making a profit. So you're not really hurting yourself and you're doing good, putting goodwill out in the community. But if you're just already a cheap place and you're just offering a deal, then you just won't survive. Okay, so a competitive advantage is, say, mobile with a food truck over them being a brick and mortar. I don't know if that's a competitor advantage that a bank would recognize, because I don't know if it's a competitive advantage that I would recognize. I think it's strategic for your business plan, it's strategic for your business, but not necessarily a competitive. A competitive advantage is something that makes someone thinks of barbecue and they go, I'm going to go to your restaurant over this. Or someone thinks of chicken, they go, I'm going to go to Chick-fil-A instead of Popeyes. I'm going to get that Chick-fil-A burger over the Popeyes burger, right? The chicken sandwich. So why would they think of you? No one's going to think they're a food truck. Let me go there instead of this restaurant by my house, right? So it's not necessarily a competitive advantage. It may be strategic. Hey, I'm going to park this food truck in front of your business just to make it convenient for you. So maybe it's part of your strategic plan, but not necessarily a competitive advantage in a sense of why a customer is going to specifically choose you over somewhere else. All right. Jada says her profit margin is pretty high for her restaurant. And Jada is making, what are you making again, Jada? Burgers? Jada, what is your food costs for your burger? And how much are you selling it for? She says her margin is pretty high. What is pretty high? What is the food cost for your burger and what are you selling it for? All right. While Jada gets that for us. And remember, we want to try to keep it 24% really food cost if we can. That's enough. That's a margin where you can actually build a successful business, build a successful restaurant. All right. So menu pricing, focus menu, signature items. You want items that they can only get from you. Items that they can only get from you. And so if you're doing snow cones, maybe you have a flavor that no one else has. You know, everybody has tiger blood and watermelon and, you know, all of those standards. And you want to carry the standards, right? Because someone comes there for a standard. You want to have it. But maybe you have some special thing that no one else has. So they have to come to you to get it, right? So some signature items. And a lot of times a signature item can be made from things you already carry. For example, you know, Mexican restaurants. A lot of Mexican restaurants have variations of the same item, right? So it allows them to not have to buy a lot of stuff, but to be able to make a lot of stuff, right? Because the same beans that you put on the pork chop plate with pork chop, rice, and refried beans, you can still make a taco with it. You can put those same refried beans in the taco, right? The same cheese you put, you know, in a taco, you could put on your nachos, right? So they're not carrying 50 different items. They're just using those items smartly to make different dishes. And you can do that with, you know, going back to snow cones. Maybe you take tiger blood and you mix it with watermelon and you mix that with pineapple to make your own signature, you know, Hawaiian snow cone, right? And somebody's like, oh, I like this Hawaiian snow cone. Like, oh, there you go. Now you got your own little signature thing. And you didn't have to buy anything special. You just use what you had to make a unique product. All right, recipe and food cost analysis. You know, exact recipe cost. I cannot say that over enough. Can't say it enough. You need to know your costs. When someone asks you your costs, you need to know them. You need to know your costs. You need to know your costs. I think I heard someone say you need to know your costs. We're going to repeat that all the time until you graduate. If you know your cost, you can succeed. If you do not know your cost, you cannot succeed. You remember one of the students came in and said they opened up a restaurant multiple times and every one of their restaurants failed. And he's like, I didn't know this stuff. This stuff is important. Exact recipe costs, portion standards, and gross margin by item. Okay. Someone said they're going to do social media challenges for customers to post their hot dog creations. Winner gets one free meal. That's great promotion. That is absolutely great promotion and a great idea. All right. You need to know your startup budget. You got to know it. You got to know it. Truck, equipment, permits, inventory, branding. The guy you pay to use ChatGPT to make the logo. How much does it cost? Working capital. You need to know your budget. You need to know how much it costs when you're borrowing this money. Loan request. Exact amount requested. What the money buys. Borrower contribution. Are you sticking in some of your own money? They're going to want to know this. All right. Jada says she's selling the combo for $14 and it's $3.50 for her bacon jam burger. Okay. So what is the cost if $14 is the combo? What is the cost of the combo? And $14 isn't a bad cost for a combo. But if the burger is $3.50, is it coming with fries? Is it coming with, obviously it's coming with a drink. So what's the total cost of your combo that you're selling for $14? And then the profit, you're saying profit is roughly 50%. Okay, she's saying for just the sandwich, $12 for just the sandwich, $3.50. So $3.50 to make bacon and jam burger, and you're going to sell it for $12. It's possible, depending on the area, but you're going to be need to be in an area where $12 is okay. $14 as a combo, $12 is just a sandwich, $3.50 is the cost of the sandwich. Okay, okay, here we go. Well, what's the cost of the total combo? So if your fries and a drink, is it chips and a drink? $14 I don't think is an undoable cost for a combo. And if you say that you're going to make 50% profit, that means that your cost would be $7 and you'd be making another $7 as profit. And if you say I don't see getting someone to buy a sandwich alone for $12. If you're at a fair or at an event, you probably could get $12 for it. In this current market in San Antonio, you could probably get $12 if you're at the rodeo. But at a food truck, you're not going to sell a lot of sandwiches by itself. I don't see for just $12 for bacon and jam on bread. And someone paying $12 for it. I don't think that's going to fly. But try it. Don't let me deter you. But $14 for a combo sounds more realistic. And if your food costs, based on, you didn't tell me what it is, but you say you got 49% profit in that $14 combo. So it seemed like roughly $7 for the food cost, which is also not unrealistic. You bacon and jam burger with your lettuce, tomato, I guess whatever they want to put on it. And I'm imagining your sides, which you hadn't told me. I'm imagining it is chips in a drink or fries in a drink. So having a $7 food cost is reasonable. $14 combo is also reasonable. So I don't see anything unreasonable there. All right, so that's not bad at all. At this, your food cost is 50% versus 24%. But I still think that's doable. Okay. All righty. So then if you do a discount, you have to be careful. Don't discount yourself into poverty or to closing down. But all right, good job. I think that's decent. I think that's a decent job there. Awesome. All righty. So startup: truck, equipment, permits, inventory, branding, and working capital. Loan requests. You need to know the exact amount requested, what the money buys, and borrower contribution. So exact amount, don't tell them, oh, I think I need 50 grand. Do your homework. Hey, I am buying this food truck at 50,000, hiring these staffers at $15 an hour, buying 6 months worth of supplies at this. I'm buying cups, bowls at this price, and know what you're buying, who you're buying it from. We've already done that with the food truck, right? We're going to wherever, Websteron, and buying a griddle, what have you, whatever. Know exactly what everything costs. That way it could be in a document where people go, oh, if I want to know how much that costs, this is how much that costs. Okay. And then when you know how everything costs, you can ask them for, I need $98,702, right? You know what you need. All right. And always budget a little extra. just for not too much extra, but maybe 10% extra. And you say, hey, this is what we need. And we're asking for 10% extra just as a buffer, right? So we want 101,000 or whatever. All right, financial projections. Daily customers, average ticket, monthly sales, expenses, and your break even. So we should break even after a year. You know, we're anticipating based on foot traffic in the area and information from other food trucks along the path that they're getting 35 customers a day. Our average ticket price is $20. Right? Customer comes up and buys something for him and, you know, his girl or his kid or whatever. So that means average ticket price is $35 or excuse me, $20, and we should be selling 10 customers, right? So what does that tell them? I should have $1,050 in sales. Alrighty. Every day. And if you're open 30 days a week with average $1,000, you should do $30,000, right? Or 7 days a week, 30 days a month, should average $30,000. Alrighty. So you want to know daily customers. You have these projections, daily customers and realistic numbers. Like, where did you get these numbers? Why do you think you're going to have 35 customers a day? Well, because based on what all the other food trucks get a day, I average it out and it's 35 customers, all right? Average ticket size. Why do you think you can support a $20 ticket? The other average tickets for the other food trucks in the area is $25. $20 should not be a problem. Or it's $15. Ours is higher, but we offer more value and we believe that this area will support that value, what have you, right? Monthly sales projections, expenses. Yeah, we make $1,050 a day, but we use $50 in propane a day. And we are paying $300 in employee fees a day. And we're paying, you know, $60 a day to be in this spot, you know, at the park, on this path, whatever. So you need to know what your daily expenses, weekly expenses, monthly expenses, annual expenses, right? And at what point you break even. Hey, it's going to take us a year to break even to, you know, pay you guys back and get out of debt. You know, if you give us $100,000, we pay you $8,000 a month back. After a year, we have paid you back and we're good to go. Right? Operations plan. What's the flow of the truck? Because remember, your equipment is bolted down. So it's not like, oh, I'm going to slide this over here. So you need to think of the flow. You know, the food is going to come in and go straight to this refrigerator. And then from there to the griddle. From the griddle to the make-ready area. From the make-ready area is behind the window. So person can just grab from the make-ready area and hand out the window, right? So think about flow. You don't want people tripping over each other. It's already a small space. You don't want people tripping. All right. Marketing plan. How demand is generated through events. I love the idea of, someone said social media contests. I love that. You know, once a month we throw First Fridays where we have artists come and blah, 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 blah. Content. Every day we post, you know, 5 times a day about our drinks, or, you know, one post is about drinks, one post is about sides, one post is about entrees, one post is about employees, one post is about the area. And we post 5 times a day, you know, on all social media platforms. We run social media contests, right? We have partnerships with the HOA to be here on Tuesdays and be there on Saturdays, right? We do punch cards for repeat business and so forth. All right. And then your repayment strategy, just say $8,000 a month for a year and you guys are paid for it roughly, right? Over 13 months. Okay. Sell the business story. People want to know about you. So like I say, after they're convinced about the numbers, like once you convince them about the numbers, they still want to know about you. That's going to be very important to them. What's your story? Type your story in the comments. What made you want to do what you're doing? What made you want to open up a food truck? What's your story? Type your story in the comments. What's your story? But people, because they want to be able to love you and they want to be able to root for you and support you. If you have good numbers and no one likes you, you're not going to get very far. You've had students in here, and I love everybody. You know me, you know, pastor a church. We volunteer to feed people. I love everybody. It's very rare for me not to like somebody. But I have had people, even students, but I just did not care for. I didn't trust them. They seemed a little slimy and sneaky. And I want all of my students to win. But if I had to go out on a limb for a student, it probably wouldn't be them. Right? So how people feel about you matters. And all of us want to think, I don't care what people think. I don't care what people feel. I don't care. And okay, but then you're going to be a man or a woman on an island. If you've ever been on an island by yourself with no one to help you, you realize it's not so good to be on an island. I don't like being on an island. Wish I had someone to call and talk to. Wish I had someone that could come and help me row and get off this island, right? You need people to not just believe in you. You need them to like you. People do more for people they like than people they don't. Now, lucky for me, that student, turned their act around at least a little bit. And I began to like them, and they began to, I think, to buy in and do a little better. Doesn't mean that they're 100% there, but they're better than where they started. Right? You need people to believe in you. You need people to like you. So you need to tell your story. After you prove to them that the numbers are legit and that you can pay them back with interest, you need to show them that, hey, man, I'm someone worth believing in. And tell them your story. Hey, I was born on a river in a flatboat. My parents called me Mississippi because I was born on the Mississippi. And we lived in the back trailer, and all I ate all day was jam and bacon. It's all we could afford. And I said, one day, I'm going to bring jam and bacon, and I'm going to make it elegant. It wasn't elegant for us. We were poor. It's all we had. But one day, I said, I'm going to make it elegant, and everybody's going to eat jam and bacon. And that's what made me open up Jam and Bacon Food Truck or whatever, right? And it needs to be your story. Or, hey, I was a single mom, or, hey, I was a dad, or, hey, maybe our family, I was born rich and got a chance to travel the world and travel to all of these different places and eat caviar and, beluga caviar and try gold flaked escargot. And I've tasted all of this great stuff. So I decided to bring all of the great taste and flavor of the world and bring them into one place for everyone to be able to experience it that couldn't travel the world, right? What's your story? Whatever it is, everybody has a great story. It doesn't need to be one of hardship. It doesn't need to be riches. It just needs to be yours. What's your true, real story? And people will like it because it's you. Okay. So go ahead and type in the comments. What's your story? What's your story? Type it in the contents. What's your story? Your comments. Okay. What the truck sells, why the menu is focused, what customer problem it solves, the concept, the customer, your mic, my ideal customer, who buys it, when they buy it, where they are, and why should we care, right? Location and strategy. The edge, what makes this truck more attractive than competitors or substitutes? And the borrower, why this owner is credible, disciplined, and ready to execute. Okay. All right. I think I've given you guys a lot. I think we're going to stop right there and we'll pick up on market proof. But I want to read out some of you guys' stories. Go ahead and give me your story. Give me your story. What's your story? Okay. I want to read it before we go. And then after that, we'll get into, I'll do a motivation for you guys. All right, quickly. Type in your story and type in what made you want to do this, what you're doing. All righty. Good stuff. All right, let me give you guys your motivation. And if you're still here with me, type I'm here, I'm here. All righty, good stuff. All right, let me give you guys your, all right, and chassis, say you have sides. I have dirty rice, fries, and okra along. This is Jada with her fusion burgers. And know that the sides are going to be different for those that serve different types of sides. You might, in this case, dirty rice, fries, and okra. You know, you might need to have upcharges on certain items, like you go to certain places and you say, all right, I want to swap my fries for onion rings. And they're like, oh, we can do that, but there's $1.20 upcharge, right? Because the price for onion rings is going to be more expensive than the price for fries or whatever. Or maybe the preparation takes longer. However, so you're going to need to know that, hey, this is my food cost with okra. This is my food cost with fries. This is my food cost with dirty rice. And maybe the differences are negligible and you keep it the same. Or maybe the differences are significant and you raise the price. So you're going to need to know, that. Okay. Or maybe the cost is negligible, but the demand for one is higher. So you raise the price anyway, supply and demand. All right. Okay. Thank you for that, Jada. All right, let me give you your motivation and then we're going to get out of here. All righty. One thing, and I told this to another class. In life, not everybody's going to be a winner. Everybody wants to be, but not everybody will be. A lot more people go into med school. Very few graduate as doctors. Right? Drop rate is high in any field, especially a field where an important field and a technical field. You know, a lot of people want to be computer programmers and then they get in there and go, this is hard. People want to be doctors, they get in there and this is hard. Lawyers, they get in there and go, this is hard. Even in this course, we see people drop, hey, this is hard. I want to own a restaurant, I want to be successful, but crunching numbers, figuring out food costs that's hard. Makes my brain hurt, right? Don't fail because others around you are failing. Don't quit med school or law school or a course or give up on your dreams because uncle didn't make it, mama didn't make it, friends didn't make it, or coworkers or classmates or colleagues didn't make it. Just because they don't believe in themselves doesn't mean you shouldn't believe in you. Just because they don't want to take the hard road and the hard path doesn't mean that you shouldn't. Worst thing ever will be to look back on your life and with full of regret because you dropped out because someone else dropped out, or you took the easy road because someone else took the easy road, or you made excuses. Oh, I didn't have time to study. I didn't have time to go back to school. I didn't have time. And now you look back on your life full of regrets. Because when you look back, you're going to go, I wish I would have made time. Right? I wish I would have made time. Like with prayer and God. I was talking to someone and nobody says, you know, at the end of their life, I was talking to a business owner and no one says at the end of their life, oh, I wish I would have worked more. They don't. What they do is say, man, I wish I would have spent more time with my family, with my wife, my husband, with my kids. I wish I would put more time into going to church and developing a relationship with God. Right? At the end of our lives, it's funny how much clarity we have. I've had to sit on side as a clergyman. I've had to sit on side of people's bedsides, you know, that didn't make it, that died. And when you're dying, I can guarantee you life becomes a lot clearer. So my motivation to you is don't wait till you're dying or dead or near death to put effort into things that could change your life. Keep pursuing, keep chasing your dreams. And you'll see greatness happen. All right. Thanks for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next class. Make sure you do your homework, explain pitching to someone, or actually make your business pitch, make a detailed business pitch, dress up in a suit, look real nice, and pitch me your business. I look forward to receiving those pitches. God bless and have a great day.
Welcome to the Griffin School of Excellence, or GSE. If this is your first time here, I want to say two things right away. First, you're in the right place. Second, you're not just joining a class, you're joining a legacy. GSE has been delivering high-quality education for over 20 years, and our story didn't start in a classroom. It started in the real world, where deadlines are real, standards are high, and results are what matter. Our origins began as Nomega Film and Audio, rooted in the audio and video space, working in film production, commercial work, audio engineering, and scoring. We filmed TV commercials and engineered projects tied to major industry workflows, producing, recording, editing, mixing, and delivering professional results. This wasn't theory, it was work where excellence is essential. That's the DNA of GSE. From early on, we weren't just producing, we were teaching. We taught Virginia Commonwealth University students and partnered with the Entertainment Career Connections Institute to teach their Richmond students. Our school originally grew in Richmond, Virginia, focusing on audio and video engineering, training students to not just know about production, but to actually do it. In 2025, we officially transitioned to the Griffin School of Excellence, expanding our programs to fit the future. AI for business, food truck entrepreneurship, coding and development in Python, and continued strength in audio-video engineering. We have a great origin story filled with hard work and proven ability and a rich history, but we're not living in the past. We're building modern skills for today's economy with the same high standards that built the original school. Here's the big difference between